The Nintendo 64. Bumped us up from 16-bit to 64, ushered in a new era of gaming with 3D. Hey everybody, this is Brotrio, and this is going to be our top 10 Nintendo 64 games. Just a disclaimer, don't jump all over us. We were very late to the Nintendo 64 game. I think we got it maybe 6 months before the GameCube came out, and then we got a GameCube. So
yeah, we got our friend Ben's hand-me-down N64 because he had lost his power cord to it, so all we had to do was buy a power cord and we got one. So we missed out on some of the greater games, like you won't see Banjo-Kazooie on this list, and others like that. So
Jet Force
sorry,
Gemini,
but we never even knew those games existed until the GameCube was out.
You can't go wrong with Dinosaurs. I mean, they're big, they're scary, they make good storylines, and Turok is the dinosaur hunter. You get a knife, bow and arrow, and you just go kill everything in your path.
Yeah.
oh, you get a lot more guns later, though.
Oh yeah, later.
Yeah, the alien guns were just really even the playing field, especially against the Raptors and the T-Rex.
Yeah.
The Raptors were tough.
And that, like, shaman wizard guy, I forget what he was up to, but...
Yeah, the only part that sucked were the human enemies. They shouldn't have been there. Great game. You fought a T-Rex. I'm pretty sure it had guns on it. Another idea that worked really well but really shouldn't have was taking Mario and making him paper. But in the, I guess, spiritual successor to Super Mario RPG, we got Paper Mario, and that game was really great. The story was pretty decent, a lot better than most Mario games, and but the real shining thing was the battle system and the characters.
Yeah, I remember the Paracoopa you got. His name was Perry. He was like my go-to character.
He was great.
Yeah, I love games where you get like your enemies as allies.
Lackey Lester.
Yeah.
Lackatoo. He was pretty cool. I don't remember what he did. It's been a while.
Had a lot of great characters, a lot of great moments in the game, and just super fun gameplay.
Yeah, I love the battle system with the timing based. I wish they'd go back to that in the newer games, but
Sticker Star is not going to cut it.
Now, this game was a great kart racer that wasn't Mario Kart. Diddy Kong Racing is just one of the best racers out there because you not only had karts, you had hovercrafts and planes, and you could stack power-ups. And that's and it had a good, pretty decent story mode for a kart racer. Yeah. I mean, you got to race Triceratops and Whiz Pig, and
it was a racing game with boss battles. I mean,
it was really fun.
It was really
the battle mode was what shined, though. Icicle Pyramid was just the best. We spent so many Saturday nights just blasting the crap out of each other on each level of that stage.
Oh yeah, you could have the 10 rockets each. And
Oh,
that game was so fun.
And they had those magic codes where you could do like ultimate power-ups and stuff like that.
Diddy Kong Racing was it was a really fun game. It was a great time with your friends and family.
This game was such a staple for the N64. Like, anybody I knew that had the system had GoldenEye.
It was like one of the best and first-person shooters out there.
Why wouldn't you have it?
I mean, it definitely made the genre popular. And 4 players at the same time, just going around shooting each other. So much fun.
And even though it's aged terribly, it's still one of the few N64 games still played at parties today.
Yeah.
And like the story mode was fun and all, but the multiplayer was where it was at. This game, it was responsible for so many hours of our life just playing multiplayer, shooting each other.
And the best way to do so is slappers only.
As far as quotable games go, I think Star Fox 64 has all of them beat. Because
Yeah.
I don't
Peppy alone, I mean.
I can't think of any game that was quoted as much as this one. Maybe the all your base thing, but not as much. People quote more than one line from Star Fox 64, and like, it's not just quotes. The game is really super fun too, and all the
Yeah, it's got all the branching paths, all the peppy quotes, all the slippy deaths. I mean, anyone could win. I mean, it also had a pretty good multiplayer, although
Yeah.
it seems to have been forgotten since time has passed. But it was pretty great.
Yeah, it was.
we had GoldenEye for another multiplayer.
True,
That's-
but
yeah.
yeah.
And you got to fly the plane. You got to fly a, well, not
The
really
tank.
fly a tank, but
And you got to go to the one stage where you got that dumbass submarine, and it was terrible.
Yeah, that submarine.
I never got to that
Just
level. I
garbage.
missed it like every time for some reason.
The best is purposely going through the waterfall so you can hear Peppy on the lava planet and just be like,
This is the enemy's bioweapon? Do a barrel roll.
have you ever been playing a game and thought, what if I could mix this power with another power? If the answer is yes, you need to play Kirby 64 because that is exactly what you can do in it, and it is one of the best Kirby games ever because you can mix literally any power. You can mix rock with bomb and make dynamite, and it's super powerful and hurts you, and you have to hold down and put on your little construction helmet. You can even mix rock with rock and do just a more powerful rock. Not to mention the story is great. You go in space and you fight that white weird thing like crying blood.
Yeah.
I forgot its name, but it was
Giant
horrible.
But the best part about that game is you can go full on Darth Maul and mix Cutter and Spark, and you get a double-sided lightsaber.
Yeah.
And it was just
It was fantastic.
one of the funnest powers.
Yeah.
Kirby 64 is easily one of the best games with the most variety of powers you could ask for.
Ever since Mario's first real game, not counting Donkey Kong or anything else he was in, I'm talking about Super Mario Brothers. That redefined the entire platforming genre. Pretty much invented it. With Mario 64, it was completely thrown on its head. There weren't very many 3D explory type of games before this, if any, but none of which controlled as well or revolutionized the industry as much as Super Mario 64.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just had superb 3D platforming, some pretty awesome powers, and you got to swing Bowser around like nobody's business. Throw him into bombs.
The music, the level design,
It all worked
Yeah.
very well.
everything was great.
That monster piano in the ghost house and
Yeah, that was pretty scary. That startled me at first.
dropping the penguin off the cliff.
Oh, that baby penguin. I hated it so much.
Speaking of Mario, just put him behind the wheel of a cart and you have a fun game. Mario Kart 64 was just where it was at. You had the multiplayer, Battle Arena was so much fun, stealing balloons from each other.
And it has a feature that seems to have disappeared in future Mario games where you could just turn into the bomb after you
Yeah,
lost all your lives.
You
So
could
you
get
get-
sweet vengeance on who killed you.
or anybody nearby.
Well, I prefer
But,
sweet
yeah.
vengeance.
Also, the Grand Prix was great.
Yeah, it was.
Introduced some of the best stages in Mario Kart, like the Yoshi stage with the big rotating egg.
Yeah, and the always difficult Rainbow Road.
Yes. With Mario Kart, the main thing about it was the battle mode.
Yeah,
Like,
the battle
it
mode was where it was at.
So much fun.
We spent so many nights playing that.
Pretty sure I still have Block Arena memorized.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Worst
game.
is whenever we kill off Scotty early, and because he's just like a ninja with his bomb apparently, and he can just find you no matter where
Yeah.
you are.
I was so bad at the bomb, but it was fun.
Now, the N64 was all about local multiplayer, and no game spoke truer to that premise than Super Smash Bros. I mean, all-out brawls with Nintendo character mascots is just one of the best ideas for a game that ever happened and was ever put onto a cartridge. We played it so much when we first got it that Scotty literally got a carpal tunnel claw because he had played it too long and his hand just locked
Yeah, 'cause
up.
it
My
was
thumb
like
up from it was. I
20
blame the
hours
60. Yeah,
straight.
I blame the Nintendo 64 controller for a good bit of that, but the long gameplay session didn't help at all.
Also, I mean, the game gave Captain Falcon a fighting moveset, and we've been loving the Falcon Punch ever since.
There's not much I can say about The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time that has not been said. Just, in my opinion, the greatest game in the Zelda franchise. Definitely the greatest game for the Nintendo 64, and
Yeah, easily.
one of the greatest games ever made. One of the most revolutionary ever made. Just like Mario revolutionized himself and the entire genre in the NES days and the 64 days. Zelda did that as well. Z-targeting,
Z-targeting.
Yeah.
I mean, open world. I mean, for the time, it was an impressive world. If you're playing it now and never played it before, it wouldn't seem that impressive. But
Well, it's still pretty big, and
Yeah,
I mean,
it's still,
anything you can see, you can get to pretty much.
yeah, it's bigger than Skyward Sword was.
yeah, but that's just beautifully crafted game in every way. The music, the characters, the dungeons especially had some of the greatest dungeons.
Some of
Really-
the best side quests in the series.
Most rewarding for the
Yeah.
Bigoron sword. And
Bigger on sword, you get a lot of bottles.
you get that glitch bottle.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can get the glitch bottle. You can get, Deku upgrades, stick upgrades, quiver upgrades. It's all great. Not to mention, it was the introduction of Ganondorf, the human form of Ganon. It was one of
Yeah.
the best villains of all time.
Yeah, they hit every note with that game, and that is why it is our number one game for the Nintendo 64.
Those are our top 10 N64 games. It's just the ones we enjoyed the most. If you liked what we said, give this video a like and subscribe and share it if you want to. If you didn't like what we said, why don't you tell us your top 10 N64 games in the comments. And don't forget to stay tuned for our next top 10. We'll be covering top 10 GameCube games. Catch y'all next time on Brotrio.